If you've ever noticed that your legs feel heavier than they used to, or that your feet seem colder even when the room is warm, you're not imagining it, and you're certainly not alone. Over the past 23 years, I've sat across from hundreds of patients in their 60s, 70s, and beyond who quietly described these exact sensations. They didn't always bring it up right away. Sometimes it came at the end of an appointment, almost as an afterthought. They would say something like, "Doctor, my legs just don't feel the same anymore," or "I get tired much faster when I walk." And what they were describing, in many cases, was not simply aging, but subtle changes in circulation. As we grow older, our bodies change in ways that are gradual and often easy to overlook. Circulation, which is the continuous flow of blood delivering oxygen and nutrients to your tissues, is one of the systems that naturally becomes less efficient over time. This doesn't mean something is necessarily wrong. It means your body is adapting to decades of use, wear, and life experience. But when circulation slows, especially in the legs, it can affect how you feel every single day. You may notice stiffness when you stand up. You may feel discomfort after sitting for too long. You may even feel less confident in your balance and mobility, which can quietly limit your independence. Many people are familiar with magnesium and its role in muscle health, and it has become widely discussed in conversations about cramps and muscle comfort. So it's understandable that when circulation or leg discomfort becomes a concern, magnesium is often the first thing people think about. But what many seniors are surprised to learn is that circulation itself is influenced by multiple nutritional and physiological factors, including certain vitamins that support the health of your blood vessels and the systems that regulate blood flow. I want to acknowledge something important here. It's completely normal to feel skeptical when you hear that one nutrient might be more relevant than another, especially when magnesium has been discussed so frequently. Skepticism is healthy. It means you care about understanding what's truly happening in your body, rather than simply accepting every new claim you hear. My role is not to convince you of something sensational or unrealistic, but to help you understand how your body works, so you can make sense of the changes you may be experiencing. What makes this topic especially important after the age of 60 is that circulation plays a central role in maintaining your mobility, comfort, and overall quality of life. Your legs carry you through your daily routines. They allow you to walk, to remain active, to maintain your independence. When circulation is working well, your muscles receive the oxygen they need, your nerves function properly, and your tissues remain healthy. But when circulation becomes less efficient, even subtle changes can influence how your legs feel and perform. I've seen patients who were once very active begin to withdraw from activities they enjoyed, not because they wanted to, but because their legs simply didn't feel as reliable or comfortable as before. And often they assumed this was just an unavoidable part of getting older. They didn't realize that circulation and the nutritional factors that support it could be part of the explanation. One of the most reassuring things I can tell you is that these changes are common, and they do not mean your body is failing you. Your body is incredibly resilient. Even after decades of life, it continues to adapt, repair, and respond. But understanding the factors that support healthy circulation becomes increasingly important with age, because it helps explain why you may feel differently now compared to 10 or 20 years ago. You deserve to understand what is happening inside your body, not in a way that creates fear, but in a way that brings clarity and confidence. When you understand the role that circulation plays and how certain nutrients support your blood vessels and tissues, the sensations you feel in your legs begin to make sense. They are no longer mysterious or confusing. They are part of a larger, understandable process. This conversation is about giving you that understanding. It's about recognizing the quiet, gradual changes that many people experience after 60, and explaining how your body continues to depend on the right internal support to function at its best. To understand why certain vitamins can play such an important role in leg circulation, it helps to first understand how circulation itself works inside your body. Your blood vessels, especially the arteries, are not rigid pipes. They are living, flexible structures made of muscle and delicate inner lining. This inner lining is called the endothelium, and it acts almost like a smart control center. It signals when vessels should relax and widen, and when they should gently tighten. This widening and tightening helps regulate how easily blood flows to your legs and feet. When you are younger, this system works very efficiently. The blood vessels remain flexible, and the inner lining responds quickly to the body's needs. But after the age of 60, this flexibility naturally begins to decline. Think of it like a garden hose that has been used for many years. When it's new, it bends easily and water flows smoothly. Over time, it may become slightly stiffer and the flow becomes less responsive. Your blood vessels go through a similar process. They don't stop working, but they may not expand as easily as they once did, which can slightly reduce circulation to the farthest areas of the body, like the legs and feet. One of the key mechanisms involved here is something called nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is a natural substance your body produces that tells blood vessels to relax and widen. You can think of it as a signal that says, "Open up and let blood flow freely." Certain vitamins help support the body's ability to produce and use nitric oxide effectively. When this process works well, blood moves smoothly, delivering oxygen and nutrients to your muscles and nerves. When it becomes less efficient, circulation may feel slower, and tissues may not receive support as quickly as before. Another important factor involves the health of your nerves. Your nerves do more than just control movement and sensation. They also help regulate blood flow by sending signals to your blood vessels. These signals help coordinate when vessels should open or adjust. As we age, nerve function can become slightly less efficient, especially if the body does not have the nutrients it needs to support nerve health. Certain vitamins are essential for maintaining the protective coating around nerves, called the myelin sheath. This coating helps signals travel quickly and clearly, much like insulation around an electrical wire. When nerve signals remain strong and efficient, blood flow regulation also remains more stable. There is also the role of red blood cells, which are responsible for carrying oxygen throughout your body. Your leg muscles, even when you are resting, need a steady supply of oxygen to remain comfortable and functional. Vitamins play a role in supporting the formation and health of these red blood cells. When red blood cells are healthy, they move easily through even the smallest blood vessels, delivering oxygen where it is needed most. This is especially important in the lower legs, where circulation naturally works against gravity. Magnesium, which many people are familiar with, primarily supports muscle relaxation and nerve communication. It helps muscles release after contraction, which can reduce cramping and tension. But circulation itself depends heavily on the flexibility of blood vessels, the health of the vessel lining, the strength of nerve signals, and the efficiency of oxygen delivery. Certain vitamins directly support these specific systems, helping maintain the structure and function of blood vessels and nerves over time. It's also important to understand that circulation is not controlled by a single organ. It is a coordinated effort involving your heart, your blood vessels, your nerves, and your blood itself. All of these systems must work together smoothly. With age, small changes in each of these areas can add up. Blood vessels may become slightly less flexible. Nerve signals may travel a bit slower. Oxygen delivery may not be quite as efficient as it once was. None of this happens suddenly, and none of it means your body is no longer capable. It simply reflects the natural aging process. What matters most is that your body continues to rely on the nutrients that support these systems. Vitamins that help maintain blood vessel flexibility, protect nerve function, and support oxygen transport can play a meaningful role in helping circulation remain as efficient as possible. This is not about reversing aging, but about supporting the natural processes that allow your body to continue functioning comfortably and reliably as you grow older. I remember a woman named Margaret who was 72 years old when she first mentioned her legs during a routine visit. She wasn't there for anything urgent. In fact, she almost didn't bring it up at all. As we were finishing her appointment, she paused for a moment and said very quietly, "Doctor, my legs just feel tired all the time now." She wasn't describing pain. It was more of a persistent heaviness, especially in the evenings. She told me she used to enjoy walking around her neighborhood every morning, greeting familiar faces, feeling energized by the routine. But over the past year, those walks had become shorter. Not because she lacked motivation, but because her legs simply didn't feel as responsive as they used to. What struck me most was not just the physical sensation she described, but the uncertainty behind it. She wasn't sure if it was normal aging or if something was wrong. She wondered if she was imagining it, or if she was somehow becoming weaker. She told me that her feet often felt cooler than the rest of her body, even when she was indoors. She had also noticed that when she sat for longer periods, it took more time for her legs to feel awake again when she stood up. These were subtle changes, but they affected her confidence. She began to hesitate before taking longer walks. She became more cautious. What Margaret was experiencing aligned very closely with the physiological changes we discussed earlier. As blood vessels become slightly less flexible with age and as circulation efficiency naturally shifts, tissues in the lower legs may not receive the same level of oxygen delivery as quickly as before. It doesn't mean circulation stops. It means it becomes less responsive. The muscles and nerves remain functional, but they may feel slower to respond, creating that sensation of heaviness or fatigue she described so clearly. Another patient, Robert, was 68 when he came in and described something different but related. He was a very independent man who had always taken pride in staying active. He didn't like the idea of slowing down, but he began noticing that when he stood in one place for too long, such as waiting in line or standing in the kitchen, his legs would feel uncomfortable, almost restless. He said it wasn't exactly pain, and it wasn't cramping. It was more like his legs needed movement to feel normal again. Sitting down would help temporarily, but when he stood back up, the sensation would return after some time. What Robert found most frustrating was that there was no single moment when it began. It happened gradually. He couldn't point to a specific day or event. It was simply something he became aware of over months. He wondered if he had done something wrong or if he had neglected his health in some way. But in reality, what he was experiencing was the natural result of subtle changes in circulation and nerve signaling. As the blood vessels and nerves adjust with age, the communication between them may not be as immediate as before. This can affect how quickly the legs feel comfortable during periods of stillness. Both Margaret and Robert shared something important. They were not experiencing dramatic or sudden symptoms. They were experiencing quiet, gradual changes. And those changes affected how they moved, how they felt, and how confident they were in their own bodies. They were not losing their strength. They were not losing their independence. Their bodies were simply adapting to age in ways that influence circulation efficiency. When patients understand that circulation depends on the flexibility of blood vessels, the clarity of nerve signals, and the efficient delivery of oxygen, their experiences begin to make sense. The sensations they feel are no longer mysterious or alarming. They become understandable. And that understanding brings reassurance. It helps them see that their bodies are still working, still adapting, and still capable of supporting their daily lives. One of the most important things you can do is simply begin paying closer attention to how your legs feel throughout the day, not with worry, but with quiet awareness. Your body often communicates through subtle signals long before anything becomes serious. You may notice differences in temperature between your feet and the rest of your body, or you may feel that your legs take longer to feel comfortable after sitting or standing. You may find that your endurance changes slightly, or that your legs feel heavier at certain times of day. These observations are not signs of failure. They are information. They reflect how your circulatory system is adapting to the natural process of aging. It is also important to understand that circulation is influenced by many interconnected factors. Nutrition, nerve health, blood vessel flexibility, and overall cardiovascular function all contribute to how efficiently blood moves through your body. No single nutrient, vitamin, or mineral works in isolation. Each plays a role as part of a larger system. This is why it can sometimes be misleading when a single nutrient is presented as a complete solution. The truth is more balanced and more reassuring. Your body relies on a combination of internal support systems working together over time. A common misunderstanding I often hear is the belief that changes in leg comfort or circulation automatically means something dangerous is happening. In most cases, especially when changes are gradual, these sensations reflect normal physiological shifts rather than immediate harm. Aging affects every organ system, including the circulatory system, but your body continues to function, adapt, and support you. The goal is not to eliminate aging, but to understand it and support your health in a thoughtful, informed way. Another misunderstanding is the idea that more is always better when it comes to vitamins or supplements. After the age of 60, your body may process nutrients differently than it did earlier in life. Balance becomes especially important. Your individual health history, existing conditions, and current medications all influence what is appropriate and safe for you. This is why decisions about supplements or nutritional changes should always be made in coordination with a healthcare professional who understands your full medical picture. It is essential that you never stop or change prescribed medications on your own based on general information alone. Your treatment plan is designed specifically for your body and your medical needs. Even when discussing nutrients that support circulation, those decisions should be part of a conversation with your physician, who can evaluate what is relevant to your personal health. Your doctor can help you weigh potential benefits, understand risks, and ensure that everything you do supports your long-term well-being. What matters most is that you remain connected to your body and engaged in your health. Notice how you feel. Recognize gradual changes without fear. Ask questions when something feels different. These conversations allow your healthcare provider to guide you with clarity and care. There is strength in understanding your body, and there is reassurance in knowing that many circulation-related changes are manageable and understandable aspects of aging. Your legs have carried you through decades of life, through routines, responsibilities, and meaningful moments. They continue to support you today. With awareness, balance, and thoughtful medical guidance, you can continue to protect your comfort, your mobility, and your independence. Your body is still working for you, and with the right understanding, you can continue to care for it with confidence and peace of mind. I'm Dr. Linda Harrison, and I want you to remember that informed awareness and steady care are among the most powerful tools you have for protecting your health as you age.